Sing with us. There's no Hebrew. You can all do this. I can't hear you. Together. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
That was great. So we are so excited to see you all here tonight to celebrate Cantor Rubin's installation. And luckily, it feels like an especially beautiful day today. Partly it may be because we're in the Hebrew month of Sivan. In Sivan, we believe the Israelites entered the Sinai desert where they received the Torah at Mount Sinai. It's also the month in Israel and the rest of the Middle East when fruit begins to ripen on trees and bushes, bringing extra sweetness into everyone's lives. And finally, the rabbis believe that the month of Sivan is a time when big things are set into motion. Not only did we receive the Torah in the month of Sivan, but now in Sivan, each of us as individuals begins to move out of the places in our lives where we may be stuck. Whatever ruts, frustrations, or obstacles have been keeping us down, we imagine, begin to disappear this month. And so it could not be a better time to officially install Cantor Michelle as she truly settles into her role as our teacher, our cantor, and our spiritual leader. So my blessing for all of us tonight is this. May this month of Sivan bring sweetness, learning, music, and joy. And may each of you find movement and ripening in all of the places that may need it. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
We continue now with Shalom Aleichem, the singing of Shalom Aleichem, which is the welcoming of the angels. But before we do this, we turn to each other, we say Shabbat Shalom, we introduce ourselves to the people around us if we don't know them, and perhaps share a little bit about our week. Hi, Marty. You know that the service is on the screen. Okay.
As we go.
Shabbat 4. I need you to sit down for the rest of the service and ensure us to come up. I made a mistake. It's actually, I'm really glad you all greeted each other. Shalom Aleichem is in a moment. But before we do that, we take a moment to bless and light our Shabbat candles. And it is my great pleasure tonight to welcome Steve Peters to the Bima for the lighting of our Shabbat candles. We are honoring Steve because he has a new grandson, Elijah Robin, who is named partly after Steve's wife, Nancy, who we all miss very much. So, Steve, if when you are ready, you will light the candles. Beautiful.
ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu להדליק נר של
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
So we continue now, Shalom Aleichem, the welcoming of the angels, and sing with enthusiasm.
And in the Sidurim, page 11. And who's going to come join us? Come on, guys. Okay. Yeah, Judas, come on. Thank you. There you go.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharei, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech, Malachei HaMelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Moachem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech, Malachei HaMelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barchuni L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech, Malachei HaMelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Seitchem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon. Mi melech, Malachei HaMelachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. You guys can stay up here. We continue now with Lecha Dodi, the welcoming of the Sabbath bride. We'll sing together verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. And when we arrive at verse 9, I will go like this, and we will rise to symbolically greet the Sabbath bride and face the door.
Page 9 in the Sidurim.
You guys want to come up? Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha Dodi, you want to clap with me? B'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zahor b'dibor echad hishmi'anu el hamiuchad Adonai echad. Clap, clap, clap. Echad l'shem. You guys can even Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lehu v'necha, ki hinekor hameracha merosh migeden nesucha. so we are going to stay standing now for the Baruch, the call to prayer, which will be led by the kids and adults. You got to do your half of this job. We can't hear you up here. We got to hear you praying like you mean it. All right.
Page 22.
We're going to face the ark. Face the ark, face the ark. Baruch Adonai Havorach Le'olam Va'ed. Beautiful. We continue now with the Shema. Page 34 if you have your Siddur. Shema Yisrael Adonai Ukshartam leot al yadecha vehayu letotafot beinecha uktavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'yitem kedoshim levohechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etem me'eretz Mitzrayim liot lachem le'Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem. We continue now with the Mi Chamocha, a song of freedom that the Israelites sang after they crossed the Red Sea to freedom. If you have your Siddur that you got at your Siddur ceremony, it is on page 38, and we sing with enthusiasm. We're going to clap together.
Light eyes first.
Good job. We continue now with the Hashkivenu, a prayer for peace. And as I often say, on Friday nights. This is kind of the Jewish version of a lullaby, and it asks that when we lie down to sleep, we'll be safe, and we'll be kept safe until the morning when we wake up. And it is on page 42 of your Sidurim.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Leshalom V'hamidenu Malkeinu Lechayim Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Leshalom V'hamidenu Malkeinu Lechayim Ushmut Zeteinu Uvoheinu L'chaim u'shalom Me'ata v'ad olam Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Leshalom V'hamidenu Malkeinu Lechayim Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Leshalom V'hamidenu Malkeinu Lechayim.
So I don't know if you all know this, but we hired Charlotte as a part-time assistant rabbi. So keep an eye out for her sermons. They're really, really good.
And following perfectly along in the Siddur.
Perfectly along. So we continue now with Vishamru, and I want to invite the kids up one more time. Page 44 in your Sidurim, as we sing together the Vishamru, which reminds us that we keep Shabbat, that we've been observing it for a very long time, and that it's really, really awesome that we get one day off a week on which we're not supposed to do anything except for eat and hang out with our friends and sing.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat La'asot et HaShabbat L'doratam berit olam Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat La'asot et HaShabbat L'doratam berit olam
Beautiful. We continue now with the Amidah, which we rise for, and we will be praying together the Avot and the Gevurot and continuing with silent prayer, the prayers of our hearts. before coming together with the singing of Oseh Shalom. And if you are following along in your Siddur, from the Siddur ceremony, it is page 46, and we face the ark.
It's also right up there.
Adonai Sifata Tiftach Ufi Yagi Tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor V'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim Vekonei Hakol Vezocher Chastei Avot V'Imahot Umevi Gula Livnei V'neihem Leman Shemo B'Ahava Melech Ozer Moshiach Umagen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham Bezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechayei Hakol Atah Ram Lehoshia Mashiach L'chaim Bechesed Mechayei Hakol Berachamim Rabim Somech Nofim Berofeh Cholim Umatir Asurim Umekayem Emunato Lishenei Afar Michamocha Baal Gevurot Umidom Eloh Melech B'nit Umechayeh Umatzmiach Yeshua Ematzalach Hayot HaKol Baruch atah Adonai Mechayeh HaKol Atah Kadosh V'Shimcha Kadosh U'Kdoshim B'chol Yom Yahalu Haselah Baruch atah Adonai Ha'el HaKadosh. You may be seated. We continue now with the Mishaberach, the prayer for healing, and as we do, we think of all of those in our lives who may be in need of healing of body, of mind, or of spirit, and so it's our tradition at GRS to read from the list, and then when I'm done with the list, I will look around at the sanctuary and invite those of you who have people you are thinking of to say their names when my eyes meet yours. And if you are at home and watching on the live stream, as I know many of you are this evening, I would invite you during that period of time to share the names you are thinking of as well. So tonight we are thinking of Yitzchak ben Chaya Devora, friend of Cantor Reuben, Masha bat Yehudit, friend of Cantor Reuben, Baruch ben Gittel, June Robinson, friend of Susan Elkin, Senna Alderman, friend of the Laced family, Sandy Roberts, Ann Solmson, niece of Susan Elkin, Bill Richter, GRS member, Marilyn Shaftel, mother of Michael Shaftel, Eric Gutierrez, Ellen Marks, friend of Sheila and Larry Cantor, Tanine Allison, Colleen Marie Kelly, Alan Elkowitz, friend of Taffy Holiday, and Lisa Sher Dumushalam, friend of Sarah Gregoire. Susan? Micah? We hold them all in our hearts tonight as we sing together the words of the Mishaberach.
Mishaberach Avotenu Mikor HaBracha May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishaberach imotenu mekor habracha le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
So we have reached the moment tonight that so many of us have been waiting for, which is Cantor Reuben's official installation as the Cantor educator of Greenwich Reformed Synagogue. And so I want to invite the Cantor to the bima, which she's already at, to share with us some words and then some music. So Cantor Reuben, if you will.
I want to thank everyone for being here this evening for Tot and family services, the delicious dinner, and my installation. It means the world to me to look out and see so many GRS families here this evening, as well as my loving friends and family who fought summer traffic during the weekends to attend. As some of you may know, before coming to GRS, I served in 2 different conservative synagogues over 2 decades. So I knew accepting the position here at Greenwich Reform was going to be a big change for me. Of course, I also started my tenure in the height of the pandemic, meeting all of our students and congregants almost exclusively on Zoom. All of that could have made my transition terribly difficult. And while there are still some families I have yet to meet, it was the warmth and support of all of you that made my transition so much easier. I'm so impressed by the many things at GRS, from how quick everyone is to lend a hand and donate their time and resources to many important causes, from delivering packages to families while we were unable to be together, raising money, collecting gifts, and giving of their time to Afghani and Ukrainian refugees, collecting food and funds for neighbor to neighbor, and serving a myriad of positions in the synagogue, just to name a mere few. You all make GRS and the world around us a better place. GRS is such an incredible community that even during Zoom services and programs, everyone, including newcomers, felt not only welcomed, but embraced. And then there are our incredible religious school students. The amount that you all learned while studying on Zoom last year was amazing, and this year, in person, you have all soared. I'm incredibly proud of our congregation and privileged to serve as your Cantor and religious school director. I want to shout out a big, big thank you to Joey Hessel and Susan Elkin for all of their incredibly hard work putting this evening together. And to Lisa and Claimer and his crew for all of their help. Thank you to co-presidents Sandy Soul and Ken Greenberg and the entire board. For all that they do every day for GRS and for their support of our many synagogue activities, as well as for the staff and congregants. Thank you to our incredible executive director, Lisa Newbart. We are so grateful to have finally found you. Thank you to our awesome religious school teachers. April is here representing. Woo! And of course, to my wonderful clergy, partner, and friend, Rabbi Jordy. For your support and collaboration. You all make it such a joy to be a part of the professional team at GRS. Finally, thank you to my family, who is so supportive of my work here at GRS. My deepest appreciation goes out to them for their unending love and the laughter they provide me in my life. Lots of it. I would like to share some very brief words of Torah. In this week's parsha, Naso, God calls for a special census with an emphasis on who is available for the various tasks associated with carrying the Mishkan, the portable sanctuary. The Hebrew phrase for take a census is Naso et Rosh, which literally means raise up the head. By raising their head, each Israelite, we won't say man at the time, but each Israelite is counted in the census and had the feeling that they mattered and that their participation had an impact on the good of the community. Similarly, each and every one of you is a vital part of what makes working for this community a most truly rewarding experience. So thank you. I believe that finding this wonderful synagogue community and being hired as both the Cantor and religious school director, the ad was only for religious school director, and I really wanted to do both, and how did you know? And it was amazing. And then to boot, I got hired literally the day before the entire world shut down. So I would have to say, it was truly meant to be. So as Cantor, I of course express myself not only through word, but more through song. So at this time, it is my distinct pleasure to call upon my daughter Kara to sing with me, Some Things Are Meant to Be, from Little Women the Musical.
imagine we're flying through the air.
We'll ascend until we're out of sight. Light as paper, we'll soar.
Let's be wild up high above the sand. Feel the wind, the world at our command. Let's enjoy the view and Neverland.
Floating far from the shore.
Some things are meant to be, the clouds moving fast and free,
The sun on a silver sea.
a sky that's bright and blue, and some things will never end.
The thrill of our magic ride.
The love that I feel inside for you.
We'll climb high beyond the break of day.
Sleep on stardust and dine on bits of moon.
You and I will find the Milky Way.
We'll be mad and explore.
We'll recline
aloft upon the breeze.
dart
About, sail on with wind ease. Pass the days, doing only as we please. That's what living is for. Some things are meant to be, the tide turning endlessly, the way it takes hold of me. No matter what I do, and some things will never die. The promise of who you are, the memories when I am far from you.
So Cantor Reuben, come here.
My God, I feel like a bat mitzvah.
So it seems a bit strange to be celebrating you now after almost a full 2 years after you started at GRS, but perhaps in its own way it's also a gift. Because in those 2 years, we have really come to know you and you have really come to know us. In those 2 years, our religious school has doubled in size. Our family services are packed, as you can see, and the kids literally run up to the bima to lead the prayers. I have never seen that in any synagogue I have ever worked at. So both of these things are a testimony to you, to your creativity, your enthusiasm for Jewish learning, and perhaps most importantly, your love not just of learning, but of our students. Everyone gets a hug when they arrive at GRS for Sunday school. And this speaks to your tremendous strength, your biggest strength, your great heart. Because our kids know that when they show up for Hebrew tutoring during the week or Sunday school, or even just to stop by, as the kids who live close by actually do sometimes, they know that they're loved. Cantor Reuben, I'm sure, traditionally knows that when a Jewish child begins learning in Cheder, the official start of their Jewish studies, their teacher would put just a bissel, just a drop of honey onto the page where the Aleph Bet was. so that a child's very first taste of Jewish learning would be sweet, a visceral memory to carry with them always. And though here at GRS we don't put honey on the pages of our little ones' workbooks, that would be way too messy for you, they do begin their studies with sweetness. It's your sweetness, which is why we know ourselves so blessed to have you not just as our educator, but also as our cantor. Your voice and your spirit enrich and beautify not just our Shabbat services every Friday night, but our high holidays, our simchas, our celebrations, and even our losses. And so my blessing for you tonight is this. May you always remember that your sacred work matters more than you will ever know. And no matter how busy or stressed you are, may you never forget that your service to GRS is a mitzvah, embedded in a covenant much older and much bigger than all of us. And may you know, too, that you are a precious and indispensable part of the Shalshelet HaKabbalah, the chain of tradition that has been passed down from generation to generation and enabled all of us as a people to not only survive and thrive, but to pass on values and traditions, rituals and celebrations. Our sacred texts insist that educating our children is among the most important mitzvot we can perform, the most important commandment. And it is also our greatest responsibility. Likewise, leading a congregation in prayer is, as we both learned in seminary, not a performance, but rather the highest expression of our community's hopes and dreams, its sorrows and disappointments. The fact that you have taken on the responsibility of both of these commandments, both of these mitzvot, with grace, with beauty, with vision, and always with enthusiasm, is a beautiful gift to all of us and a testimony to who you are as a Jew, as a person, as an educator, and as a clergy person. May you use all of your gifts well and know always that your presence among us is itself the greatest gift you can give us. We all love you, and we are so delighted to officially welcome you to Greenwich Reformed Synagogue. But the cantor's not going to get out of this with just my blessing. We wanted to bring her a blessing from the congregation as well. So please join us where it says congregation. Together, may the one who blessed our ancestors may she find joy and contentment. May her teachings and songs be inspired by the Eternal One as she continues to be a messenger of the holy traditions of our people and God's love.
I accept this charge with awe and humility as I go forth in song and in spirit, with Torah and mitzvot to lead my path, holiness and compassion to guide my steps, and fullness of faith and love to inspire others.
Shiru Ladonai Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai Kol Haaretz. Sing to God a new song. Together, may your song always be guided by our prophets, who in the words of Micah said, "Do justly, love mercy, and walk humbly with your God." May you inspire others to holiness and mitzvot, contentment and peace. May the song of your spirit be compassionate and fulfilling, bringing wholeness, strength, and healing to those who are in need. Shiru Ladonai, Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz. Sing to God a new song. Together, in every generation, we have been inspired by teachers of Torah who have challenged us with new songs of learning. Every opportunity for study evokes new revelation. With this inspiration, the children of Torah become the builders of our future, a future whose story is yet to be told. May your teachings, your songs, and your vision inspire us with the light of the Torah, and may you be inspired by the Torah of our community. So this is the moment at which we offer Cantor Reuben, the oldest prayer, the oldest and most sacred prayer in our tradition, the priestly blessing. And I did put on heels for this moment because you're supposed to be standing above, but I actually am going to take a moment to... So Cantor Reuben. Will you bow your head as I pronounce this? Thank you. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichunecha. May Adonai look kindly upon you and be gracious unto you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May Adonai reach out to you in tenderness and grant you peace all the days of your life. And we say together, Amen. Simen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simen tov, simen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simen tov, mazel tov, simen tov, yehelanu. Simen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simen tov, mazel tov, simen tov, mazel tov, simen tov, yehelanu, 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 ulecho Yisrael, yehelanu, yehelanu, ulecho Yisrael, yehelanu, yehelanu, ulecho Yisrael, yehelanu, yehelanu, ulecho Yisrael. We're not done with you quite yet. So it is my pleasure to invite Joey Hessel, chair of the search committee that found Cantor Reuben, to the bima to present Tara.
Shabbat shalom, everyone.
Oh wait, can I say one thing? It's actually Rabbi Joey Hessel.
I'm just a Jew in the pew here, thankfully, which is why I'm so relaxed all the time when I'm here. I cannot say enough about how thrilled we are that you have found your home with us and that we have found you. There's a quick story about a little boy who during the pandemic was bothering his parent who was working at home. I know we have no idea what that's like. And the father said, you know what, here, take this. And he ripped up a picture of the globe, of the world, ripped it up into a bunch of pieces and said, here, put the map back together. And the boy ran off and thinking the dad was like, oh, I'll get an hour Zoom call in, this is perfect. Within 10 minutes, the boy came back. I'm done. And the dad said, what do you mean you're done? You haven't even seen half the countries on this map. How'd you figure this out? And he said, well, Daddy, it was simple. When I turned the map over, it was a picture of a man. And so I knew all I had to do was put him back together, and then the world would be whole again. And so, Cantor, we thank you for teaching our children how to repair this broken world. We know that a lot is on your plate between your pastoral Cantor duties and your educator duties, but you handle both, and you do so much of it from your heart and with passion and with grace. And so it didn't come in time from Israel, but I'm presenting on behalf of the congregation a gift. It's a beautiful sculpture of a rose, and it's metal, it's beautiful, but what it actually is from shards of rockets that have been sent into Israel. So likewise, when you look at the rose, just like you make so many things beautiful out of what they could be on an everyday basis, so too have you made our congregation even more beautiful through your work and your knowledge. So thank you very much. Thank you.
You're official.
Do I work here now? Just wondering.
So we are going to begin to conclude our service now with the Aleinu on, if you have a Siddur, it is on page 130. If you are, otherwise it's up here. If you're a kid and you want to come up and help lead us in the Aleinu, that's great. If you're an adult and would like to rise in body or spirit as we begin to conclude our service with this prayer, I'm just going to keep talking as the kids come up, that articulates our hopes for a world of justice, of compassion, and of peace. We face the ark. Aleinu l'shabech Adon hakol, latet gerula liyotzeh bereshit, shehu asanu k'goyei haratzot, velo samanu k'mishpachot adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechor hamonam, v'anachnu korim u'mishachavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu v'nemar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. We continue now with the Mourner's Kaddish as we think of all of those who we have lost at this season in years past and those whom we have lost recently, as is our tradition. I will be reading from the list, and then if you have any names that you're remembering this evening and would like to share them, I'll ask you to do so as my eyes meet yours. And if you are at home and watching and you are observing a yard site or thinking of someone whose name we have not mentioned, I invite you to say their name during that time. Tonight we are observing the yard sites of Theodora Kaplan, grandmother of Nancy Korotkin. If you have names to add, I invite you to do so as my eyes meet yours. We hold them all in our hearts as we say together the words of the Mourner's Kaddish to support the mourners. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah, ve'alma divrach yerutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayachon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'v'zman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam ulamei amaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kudusha brechu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata ta'amiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemayim.
V'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav.
U'ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. May the source of peace send peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved, and may each of us be a comfort to the bereaved as well. And we say together, Amen. You may be seated. I would like to invite Ken Greenberg up, co-president of GRS, for how many more weeks, Ken? 3 for this evening's announcements. And Sandy, co-president of GRS, Sandy Soul.
Michelle, I remember when we were doing the Cantor, when we were doing the educator search, and as you pointed out, we were looking for an educator. Our hope, as Wendy will, as Wendy will attest to, our hope was, gee, wouldn't it be great if we could find a Cantor educator? So your resume came, and when you said you were hoping, we were secretly hoping also, hey, maybe this could work out. I confess, before the interview, there was a website from your former temple, which had some of your singing. We peaked. We wanted to do this. You came in for an interview, and you blew us all away. I think I can say here now, we had asked you to leave the room for a few minutes, and the thought of everybody in the room was, we're making an offer right now from the interview. We're just not going to let her get away. You've exceeded expectations. Your voice, everybody here can hear your voice, but it's more than a voice being a cantor, obviously. It's being a spiritual leader, a partner for the rabbi. It's really so much more. In the religious school, one of the things that I do as president is there's various bulletin boards where people post. And one of the things you see all the time with COVID is our religious school has suffered. We don't have the kids, people aren't coming, people are zoomed out. We've doubled our religious school. That is extraordinary, and I'm sorry? She doubled it. That is extraordinary and exceptional. It's thanks to you. Sandy, I don't know if you have anything to add, but we wanted to welcome you here.
No need, we've had enough speeches. But thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, a few announcements, and fortunately with this, we've got many thank yous and few announcements. First of all, thank you, Zach.
Woo!
Thank you, Rabbi and Cantor, for a lovely service. I especially want to thank all of our assistant rabbis and cantors, our kids who really make this service there. And a special thanks to Susan Elkin and to Rabbi Hessel for planning the dinner tonight. Couple of announcements. Next Friday, 6 p.m., we will be having a special Shabbat service at a private home. I don't know who it could be.
It will be at our house. It'll be a picnic Shabbat, so bring your own picnic, and we will get some more ice cream and more sprinkles. And it'll be a very family-friendly service, so come in casual stuff. Enjoy. The kids will have a great time, and hopefully we'll have good weather. So RSVP to the office so we don't run out of sprinkles.
June 22nd, we will be continuing our Musar study on Zoom with Rabbi Gerson. Rabbi, what is the topic going to be this time?
You know, one of the values in Musar is humility, so I'm going to just tell you I don't know.
Good enough.
I don't know what the topic is.
And finally, June 28th, 7:30 will be our annual meeting. Many of you have received your proxies in the mail. We'll also be sending them by email for those who can't attend. Although I would never ask anybody to do anything on Shabbat, I will just point out that there are spare proxies in a ballot box sitting in the hall outside if anybody feels so inclined. But as I said, I would never ask anybody to do anything on Shabbat. Thank you all for coming. It is such a thrill to see so many people here to honor the Cantor and just to be here as part of our community. We love you all. Thank you very much.
Oh, yes. One other thing is next Friday is also Pride Shabbat. We will be celebrating Pride. There's also the Greenwich, I think Greenwich's first annual celebration of Pride is this Sunday at Town Hall, I think at noon. Is that right? Does anybody know? Yes. So many of us will be there representing GRS, and then we'll be celebrating Pride together as a community next Shabbat. So we hope you'll join us. And we are going to conclude with a little music, as is appropriate. So we need the kids to come up and really like rock out. And adults, you really have to do your part, and we need to hear you. The words are there. You have no excuse. They're in English. They've been transliterated. Odivo Shalom Aleinu, Odivo Shalom Aleinu, Odivo Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kulam. Odivo Shalom Aleinu, Odivo Shalom Aleinu, Odivo Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kulam. Salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam, salam Aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Salam, salam. Together. Odivo Shalom Aleinu, Odivo Shalom Aleinu, Odivo Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kulam. Odivo Shalom Aleinu, Odivo Shalom Aleinu, Odivo Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kulam. Shabbat Shalom, everybody! Shabbat Shalom! And Mazel Tov, Cantor!
Thank you. You're the best.
Odivo Shalom Aleinu, Odivo Shalom Aleinu.
Everybody's like quiet and like, wow, they're subdued. They're subdued. What? We're done. Shalom.